Good morning, everyone. Very excited to have you all this morning as we're hosting our very first How to Host a FAFSA Night webinar. I am so excited to be able to join with you all today. Thank you for being here. We've got some amazing presenters that are going to be sharing some of their tips and such today, and I'm just excited to dive into this. We'll probably spend a good 50 minutes, if not hour, depending on if you have questions. So think of questions as you're going through here. During the presentations, if we could ask if you could put your questions in the chat, that'd be super helpful so that we can kind of monitor those. And then after each presentation or at the end of today, we can answer some of those as they're coming in. And I will be monitoring that as well. But to kick us off, welcome to How to Host a FAFSA Night. This is a two-part series. This is advice from new FAFSA night planners. So welcome all those that have been that are learning how to host a FAFSA event. And we are having our discussion with those that have kind of done FAFSA nights for a while on Friday. So please get registered for that. I'll grab a link for that in a moment once I am able to grab my screen. But I'm so excited to be with all of you today. But be happy for any feedback as well. But let's go ahead and kick off kind of our agenda and some housekeeping items first. Today's presenters, we have a good crew today. We have American Preparatory Academy. Tammy and Lauren will be presenting to us. Piute High School's Eric Jessen will be presenting. And then we have Granger High's Monica, who was unable to attend in person, but we have a recording for her presentation. And then, of course, we will end with Cottonwood High School's Kristen, and we're very excited for all of them to be here today. Just for you all that are planning FAFSA nights, I know I've been a little quiet on resources. I'm waiting for our FAFSA manual to be finalized for this updated school year. So my goal was to have it ready and sent today. I'm still waiting to hear that finalization on those items. So to be determined, just be aware it is on its way. Also, calendar invites with your volunteers and other details for your events will be provided here in the coming weeks. So be prepared to receive those. And those that are hosting events pretty early in January, I'll be focusing on you all first. So you'll get those very soon. And then you will start receiving resource emails from me. And starting this week, so you'll receive a resource email 4 weeks before your event, and then 2 weeks before your event, and then the week of your event. So a lot of resources will be coming your way. But I want to go ahead, kick it off, and send it over to Tammy and Lauren on their presentation. And I'm so excited for this. So I'll kick it over to you all.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dylan. I'm Tammy Olkelberry, and this is Lauren Hatch. We're at American Preparatory Academy here in Salt Lake City. I'm excited for the variety that we have today of our different schools that we have. Our school is a charter school, and our graduating class that we typically have, it's typically between 80 and 90 people. So, or 80, 85, 90, 95, just depends each year what we get. So we are a much smaller school than some of the other schools we'll hear from today. And I don't know, maybe a little boutique-ish, but we will just kind of share what we do for our FAFSA night. And we hope that you will be able to get something from it. That would be helpful. And we're going to share screen. I'm going to put it in slideshow mode too.
It's not on the first slide though.
Oh, it was. There we go. We were backwards. All right. Our APA FAFSA nights. We start out by advertising this FAFSA. We advertise it in all of our CCRs when we do it with the students, but in the summer, sometimes it goes into the first weeks of school. We meet with our seniors and their parents and talk about our FAFSA night and help them to understand that we want everybody to be able to fill out a FAFSA that's able to fill out a FAFSA, even if they don't feel like they would qualify. Oftentimes with other scholarships, they need to do that first. So we want them to be able to be aware of this. We put it on the calendar. We know when it's happening. They know when it's happening. And we just get some really great information to them ahead of time. So last year we had it in conjunction with our UCA week. And then this year we have a parent graduation night We know that parents don't have a lot of time to spend outside of their homes, so we try to pair it with as much as we can. So it's paired with our parent graduation night, and hope to have really great turnout for that as well. Let's see what else. Oh, we're also going to advertise with the students in every lesson that we do. At our school, we have a class called Senior Seminar. We created this class because our students needed some workshop time to be able to work on applications and all of the information that they need to be able to move on to the next steps of life. We are a college prep school, so we believe that all of our students will be engaging in post high school education. So we created the Senior Seminar course since we were having the same conversations with every student anyway about what they were doing, and we decided we would create a course for that. So within this course that our students have, they have this every other week, and they hear about it all the time.
Yeah, almost. At least I try to bring it up. I teach this course. I teach the Senior Seminar course, and I bring it up starting in August, and I pretty much every lesson we have, I talk about it. There's some pretty financial aid heavy lessons in the very beginning, after we've kind of talked about like what our course is about and why applying to colleges and things are important. And so I really try to advertise it, bring it up, talk about what it is. I also teach financial literacy, and we have a whole unit where we talk about FAFSA then too when they're in 11th grade. So that's another thing that they hear about it starting in 11th grade too.
If they haven't heard about it, it's probably because they haven't been in the country. So we also are working on getting our FAFSA ID completion before FAFSA night. And we'll see how that goes this year. And then we also have follow-up meetings. Lauren does utilize the time during the Senior Seminar to meet with students, check in on where their FAFSA is, and make sure that they have everything that they need, and then at the end of the year, we actually do college visits with our seniors. We take all the students that are going to University of Utah, and we go on a little visit there, and they meet with financial aid to make sure that they have everything set up there. So we have a lot of follow-up. Again, we're able to do that because we're a smaller school. And it's graded too. So they got to fill out the FAFSA if they want to be able to pass that term. With our FAFSA night, on the day of the FAFSA night, we make sure that we have lots of staff that are able to help out. Counselors, teachers, we have a Gear Up personnel also that can help out. And then our great people from Dylan's neck of the woods to be able to help out as well. Translators, particularly Spanish. But if there are other translation needs, oftentimes the students are really great about that, but we try to do what we can to get translators there. We also make sure that our undocumented students have the resources that they need. If they're not able to complete a FAFSA because of their documentation status, we let the students know that this does not mean it's the end of your financial aid. It means that there's just other resources out there that aren't available to other students. So let's get those resources to you. We do like to have food there if we can fit it into our Gear Up budget, because as we all know, if you feed them, they will come. They do like the pizza, although you're going to hear about some other food things today too that I think we should pick up on that too. And then before they leave, we just want to make sure that they apply for that scholarship to be able to win that scholarship. So we just want to be able to help perk their minds up for all of that. And that's about, in a nutshell, what we do.
Yeah. After the FAFSA night, this was already kind of mentioned, but I try to meet at least with every student one-on-one. Okay, let me start over. I try to meet with every student one-on-one at least once a month. And FAFSA is after FAFSA, well, before FAFSA night, and especially after FAFSA night. That's one of the first things that I address with them. I want to make sure that they're filling it out if they didn't finish it at FAFSA night. And if they have finished, I want them to continually be checking and be aware of what's going on with it, because I've noticed with them sometimes they apply for something and then they forget about it forever, or they forget that and I don't let them forget about FAFSA.
Mm-hmm. So that's about it for us at the APA.
Awesome. We have a couple of minutes just saved for any questions. If anybody has any questions they'd like to come off mute, I want to give at least some time to you all if you need that. So any questions for this team?
I have a question.
Mhm.
What specific resources do you give your undocumented students?
Am I still, yep, so I'm on unmute. So with our undocumented students, we have a folder of resources that we give them and the links that we give them. We've really tried to hook them up with the centers of the colleges that they're looking at, because there's so many more resources that are specific to each college for undocumented as well. So we have I can just throw in the chat some of the things that we have, and maybe everybody who's on could throw in some resources that they have, because I'm sure there's stuff that we haven't seen yet either. So that's always a hard thing, and it's such a heartbreaking conversation when you've got these great students, but there's a lot of great scholarships out there too that aren't required to have a documentation.
And I want to say too, to those schools that do or have used educate-utah.org, it is no longer available. So that's something you do need to update on your end. We are looking at a different or possible having other resources, but my first thing to go to for that change is get connected with the Dream Centers at Salt Lake Community College, as well as the University of Utah, because they have scholarships that they provide as well. Any other questions? Okay, if you run into one and you want to type it down really fast, please do so. But thank you so much, Tammy and Lauren. We appreciate your time today. I know Lauren has to get back to class. But we're going to now switch gears and move over to Piute High School with Eric. Eric, you are on mute, just letting you know.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. My name is Eric Jess, and I am the counselor at Piute High School. If many of you don't know where Piute is, we're in the small town of Junction, and there's about 5 or 6 surrounding towns that will come to our school. As far as 45 miles away, we have some students from Casharum. 25 miles, we have students from Anemone, and then Circleville, Junction, Kingston, Marysville. It's the area that we're at here in Piute. Just a little background about me. I'm actually a basketball coach and the school counselor, and I steal all of my plays, my offenses, my defenses from others. And so I stole all of the stuff that was successful for us last year from what the state has provided from Dylan and those guys. And I pretty much just went through exactly what they did or suggested, and it helped me. We had 30 students graduate last year. We had, I think, 22 students come to our FAFSA night, and all of those students had completed their FAFSA. It was the first time I'd had that big of success. And one of the things, I'll share my screen, because just basically what they've done, and ask questions at the end. We were struggling with this earlier. We'll see if we can do a better job with it. If it's not working, yell at me, Dylan. And
yeah, I'll get you. Okay, you are on mute. Let me double check if I could ask. You're still muted.
can you hear me? But you can't see my screen now, right?
I can hear you and I can see your screen, so you are good to go.
All right. So if going to the next screen might be a little bit difficult then. Hey, I'm an old guy and I'm not technology savvy. That's my downfall as a counselor.
You're
But
doing
the
great.
first screen that you see here is it's really just the outline that they gave in the how to do a FAFSA night. And it goes through on this basically from a month or so out. We started advertising to our kids. Our financial literacy teacher, last year we did it with UCA as well, our financial aid night, and our financial aid or our financial literacy teacher. He starts the students with the FAFSA. And then I pick it up and we do the FAFSA night. I get the notifications out from our school calendars. I emailed all of our parents last year. We only had the 30 students, so it wasn't too hard getting information out to them there. But I pretty much followed this protocol along with it. Now getting to the next screen might be something difficult. Next screen. You can still hear me, right?
Yep, doing good.
All right. On that next screen, it just started moving into the 2 weeks prior to and the week of. I've tried in the past about doing some food, and I did hot chocolate and donuts, and that didn't matter. It didn't bring people. So really what I did was I started just going to each individual student and telling them, if you could come for 1 hour and complete the FAFSA, knowing their background through CCRs and it's a rural community, I know which students pretty much will qualify. And so I basically told them, if you came for an hour, you could earn as much as $7,000. And so they started, that intrigued them. And then I told them that through the state, there will be a drawing for $500 scholarships, and it intrigued the kids more. And last year we had a high success of students actually go to college and had that desire, and it worked. And when you start flashing dollar signs, they start listening to it. And so they started coming to that. Did that go to the next page, Dylan? I don't
Still
see my
seeing the
screen.
checklist.
All
There
right.
we go.
I told you I steal everything from the state. I'm so simple that I just took their invitation and flyer. I typed it out. I copied it and typed it out with Piute High School, the time and the date. I went to the kids once again. And so I was reaching out to them 2 or 3 different times. I'd go into their financial literacy class again. The teacher was emphasizing it, and then just re-emphasizing with this flyer. I gave it to them to make sure that they were aware of it. On there, it has the information that's needed. And so I shared this. I'm not as fancy as I had said. On the FAFSA night, when they showed up, I still kept this presentation with them, or the attendance. And so if they completed the FAFSA or not, there were a few parents that just due to their financials, sometimes they don't like to disclose it, but we also have Snow College and SUU will come over, their financial aid advisors. And so they help with the parents entering all their data that is needed. That was beneficial. And then I had to fill out the attendance sheet. I don't know how many people do that, but something that we did. It was beneficial just so I could keep track of it a lot better. Prior to also, I had sent out what you'll need to complete. So they have that, what they needed to complete, make sure that they had got their FAFSA ID, help the parents. That was actually something we had to help parents with, is create their FAFSA IDs on that part. And so I just shared out this paper that was provided in the instruction booklet from the state. And the last thing that we did, basically, it's a repeat, but I made sure that they filled out the QR code before they left, that they were in attendance, put them in for the drawing. None of our students were lucky enough to win the $500 scholarship. But that's really as much as what I did. And just knowing the students in our school, I just kept going to them and telling them. I started it at the first year when I do my senior CCRs, and told them that we'd have that night. Because we're a small rural area as well, we volleyball ends at the end of October. Basketball starts at the second weekend in November. Volleyball ended in October, excuse me. And so I always schedule FAFSA night that week when there's nothing going on. And it helps that way. This year, we're not so fortunate. I have my FAFSA scheduled that second week in January. Any questions?
Any questions for Eric?
like I said last year, I don't know if I was as much lucky or what I did right. I just worked hard to try to get the kids out to it. I flashed dollar signs in front of them, and they were quite intrigued in that. And that helped.
And with that scholarship, I was going to say too,
That helped a lot. In fact, this year, one thing I've done already, Dylan and everyone else, I guess, is I went to my superintendent, asked if he would buy some prizes for those coming to the FAFSA night. He's going to buy some prizes.
I
We'll
love
give
that.
out prizes. They don't like food here, I guess. It wasn't beef and potatoes, so we had to do prizes this year. We'll try that, see if that continues.
Love that. Yeah, adapting is huge. And it's you'll have to let us know how it works out with your prizes. And I was gonna say too, with all these resources that you saw Eric share, they are in the process of being updated and will be emailed out. So very soon, I'm just waiting for things to be finalized, but you should have access to these items shared and updated, ready to go very soon.
It's
And we did
easier
have a,
talking basketball for me, so we'll end. I'll mute myself, Dylan. I don't have to speak again.
okay. Thank you so much, Eric, for that. We really appreciate having you here and the good work you're doing. And as you can see, you don't have to be doing this for years. You have to. Sometimes you're gonna have successful events. Sometimes you're not. Some years it's just really gonna depend. And so, don't take to heart if your event doesn't turn out how you wanted it to. But taking the time and putting things together can, just successfully build that rapport with your event. So question that came in, I did drop the winners from last year's scholarship. And so, yes, it was last year's. So we don't have any winners yet for this year just because FAFSA hasn't opened yet. But once I have the scholarship ready to go, you'll all have access to that link to be able to have your students complete the survey. And then I will release the winners from this next year, probably next fall. So if not earlier. We're going to spend a second now and listen to Monica from Granger High. Monica was unable to attend in person today, but was really great to be able to jump on yesterday and do a quick recording for you all. So I'm going to turn the time over to Monica. And if you have any questions for Monica, please put them in the chat. I will save them for her and she'll be able to reach out. And if you want to put your email in there too, that'd be helpful. And hopefully I'll be able to answer the questions, but if not, I can definitely send that over to her. So I'm going to share my screen here and double check my audio. Okay. If I could have from those that are that I can see your screen. So Jerry or Tammy or Eric, just let me know if you can't hear this. Should take a second.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monica Candia de Garcia. I am a school counselor at Granger High School, and this presentation on how we FAFSA. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, we're going to go over how we create a FAFSA committee, how we select dates, how we take care of advertising, secure a location, and what we use as incentives or a hook in order to get students and families to come in and fill out the FAFSA. So you'll notice also on this slide that I have on there that meeting notes for FAFSA are all accessible in the shared Google Drive for individuals unable to attend the meeting, allowing them to review the content at their convenience. So that's just a practice that I've been doing for quite a few years, and everybody really enjoys it and appreciates it, so that they know exactly where to go in case they forgot to follow up on some. So our committee is formed by two to three counselors, and we are a really huge school, so we have about 10 counselors. So it's not a problem to grab a few extra bodies to help us out with coordinating the FAFSA nights. We also invite our AVIC teachers, our LIA teachers, and our People of the Pacific teachers. Of course, we always include our college access advisor. This year we have the opportunity to include our Gear Up advisors, and we always invite a school administrator. So within our committee, we get together, and this is where we create our goal and expectations for the night, and we just try and coordinate it. We also identify the dates. So the dates for FAFSA night this year are a little bit different than what we have traditionally done in the past. Every year we would hold FAFSA nights on Wednesdays. However, we realized that that was limiting for some people who were already engaged during that night. So this year we're trying something different where we're going to have a Tuesday night, a Tuesday event, a Wednesday, and a Thursday event during the spring. So I encourage you to pick a date that works well for you or for your targeted audience, and select the time that's convenient for both students and parents, and secure an accessible and comfortable venue. For us, it's just in the comments area, and I'll talk about that in just 1 second. The next part is within our committee, we look at what ways we can communicate this message, this opportunity for the students and families to come in and complete the FAFSA application. So we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have pretty much every social media platform, but Instagram and Facebook are the ones that are utilized the most. So therefore, those are the ones that we are targeting as well. We've sent out district postcards. Now, if your district doesn't send those out, I highly encourage you to approach your administrator to see if you can just send your own out and get that word out to your parents through a postcard just on your own. We also have counselor student messages via Focus or Canvas. We of course go into classroom presentations. We include the school TV classroom, GTV, and we include a message in the newsletter, flyers around the school. We include all the dates and information on what they need to bring with them, especially the event details and the benefits of applying for FAFSA so that they can come in and be ready to complete the FAFSA on the nights that they choose to come in and complete the application. So we also have mass text messages that go out, mass calls, but we also start our advertising during their senior college and career readiness meeting that starts in September. So they should be anticipating that those dates are going to come, that information is going to come, and we guide them through the process and send them continued reminders of FAFSA nights coming up, start getting your documents ready, start communicating with your parents. So with our location, traditionally, we had utilized 3 computer labs here at the school. However, they're not all together, and so space was limited. We did have access to the printer, so that was really nice, but then we had to spread out all of our volunteers, and so that left some computer labs with very few helpers. And so we decided to change it to the cafeteria later on, a much larger area. And it also helped us just spread out, provide privacy, and we weren't violating any COVID-19 regulation that may have been out there, where we were all, we had enough space throughout the cafeteria. The only issue that we ran into when we switched it over to the cafeteria is that we didn't have access to the printer, but our counseling center is right across from the cafeteria, so that wasn't too big of an issue. And so we were able to handle it really, really well and right away. So what does our FAFSA nights look like? As parents come in, there's a welcome table where they can check in, parents and students, by scanning a QR code. So this way we can track attendance. They also receive a packet of information with bilingual instructions if available, instructions to go to our website where we'll have electronic instructions as well. And this year, we're also going to have an FSA ID station. We are encouraging all of our students to complete an FSA or create an FSA ID prior to attending our first FAFSA night. However, we know that it won't happen for every student. Some of them will just want a little bit more guidance. So we're going to have an FSA ID station available during our FAFSA night and encourage them to come back on our second FAFSA night. Once they're done completing all of their tasks for the night, then we encourage them to check out by scanning another QR code that will just let us know whether we need to follow up with them or not, or if they have completed the FAFSA application. So, and the hook and incentive that we use is we try to create themes around every single one of our nights. So far, this is what we have planned for this school year: a FAFSA fiesta, Chick-fil-A for January 31st, and a FAFSA pizza party for February 22nd. We also have door prizes available for the first 10 students that attend each event. We have some college swag as well as gift cards. And this is just thanks to our amazing college access advisor who went out to local businesses and asked if they would be willing to donate any gift cards, and so they did. And we are really excited to see how many students come in and show up to complete the FAFSA night, so we can get those out to them. So then at the end, after our first FAFSA night, we always do follow-ups. We go over the data, so we evaluate what went wrong, what went right, what we need to change for the next FAFSA night. And what I really like to do is just go over those FAFSA best practices that USHE has provided, just in case there's something that I overlooked or something that I should have been putting into practice or something I forgot. And it'll just be there. That FAFSA best practices really is your friend, as well as the FAFSA coordinator manual. We also try to advertise the Utah College Awareness and Financial Aid YouTube channel to all of our students and parents. So before I end, I want to quickly just show you our website where they will be directed on that night. So they'll go to grangercounselingcenter.com, click on FAFSA, and then this is what that page looks like. It's just letting them know today you need to complete 3 steps in order to complete the FAFSA application. The first one would be to create your FSA ID. So they can click here and it'll take them down to where it talks about FSA ID. They'll find Spanish instructions if needed, as well as instructions on how to create a social security number how to create an FSA ID without a social security number. And they can either click here or here, and it'll direct them to the FSA ID launch page. This is one of the forms that will probably be included in the info packet that they receive once they come in. The second step is if they already have their FSA ID, then we guide them here to this section where they can just click on Apply Now, and it'll take them directly to the FAFSA financial aid website. I have additional resources here for students, for example, for dreamers, for students who are thinking about deferment, also applying for scholarships, videos, a link to our scholarships page, just any other resources that are relevant to learning on how to pay for it. And then checkout will look like this. There will be a QR code on here for them to scan and just let us know, did you complete your FAFSA application, or did you complete your FSA ID? Do you still need help? Do you want us to follow up with you during the school day? Anything like that, so that we know what steps we need to take next in order to help this family. Okay.
So a huge shout out to Monica for being able to hop in and record this. These resources are great. Granger hosts a huge FAFSA event. So for those schools that are out there that are like feeling a little overwhelmed because of like all the different resources that they have, just know there's a big team. They have a lot of people working on that. And I recommend if you're a bigger school, get a team going. These are some great best practices. And I asked Monica afterwards about that QR code and like, getting logged in for everything for signing in and signing out. And if that was part of like the scholarship that we do with that survey, because we do provide that information to you all if they complete the survey, whether they finish the FAFSA itself or not after the event. But Monica said, that survey, it does take a little bit longer because it does have some details to it, especially surrounding the scholarship and such. And it takes them a little bit longer to do. And usually after they're done completing a FAFSA, they're pretty tired and they're less prone to be able to fill that out. And so she said that with theirs, it's a very brief and quick QR code checkout, just so they can follow up with them later. It takes just a couple seconds. So another tip there that I found very interesting too, and really great. And I did want to show you as well, if you are looking for just some best practices, and this is what Monica was discussing, I would recommend go to our website at ushe.edu. Under the initiatives tab, you can go down to K-12 outreach and click on the Utah College application and financial aid resources. In here, this is where you're going to find all the updated FAFSA resources. So as they're coming through, if you feel like you've missed it or haven't seen it yet, this is where it's going to be placed very first. So you can click on there and find these. But one of the resources there is our best practices. I'll drop both of these links in the chat so you have them, and then you can refer to them as needed. And this is updated from our different FAFSA Cup applicants. We will be hosting a FAFSA Cup this coming spring as well. It might be a little delayed because of all the delayedness on the FAFSA items, but there's some great tips and tricks here that you can hear from some of our other schools as well. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll just review those in the chat. But I want to give time to our final speaker. So thank you again to Monica Candia de Garcia. And we're going to turn the time over to Kristen Diaquisto. So I'll turn the time to you, Kristen.
Great. All right. I'm Kristen Diaquisto, and I'm a counselor at Cottonwood High School. We're part of Granite School District. We have typically between 350 and 400 seniors every year, and a very diverse group of students. Part of our boundary is South Salt Lake. So we have about 40 different languages spoken at our school, trending more recently like a high Spanish speaking population. So that's just something important to know. A lot of students new this year from Venezuela. So very diverse group of needs at our school. So this is kind of our pillars. This is how we plan and prepare. So typically we tie in the FAFSA as just one point, one important effort. You apply to college, but you can't really get to college unless you make sure you're applying for aid. So we host a FAFSA night in conjunction with UCAW. This year is obviously a little bit different, but we did try to just really hype it up during UCAW, and getting kids thinking about it early, letting them know what the date and the time is, and how to prepare. We do quite a bit of advertising. So we have flyers posted around campus, on our counseling and school web pages, in Canvas. We also mail postcards home. I'm going to kind of breeze through and show you after the presentation some of our media and our websites that you can pull some information from as well. This year we are also visiting students. We have homeroom, which is new to us this year, and we are visiting students in their homeroom, the seniors, pulling the seniors out because it's mixed grades, and working with them to get their PIN set up before FAFSA night, because that's a little bit different. In order to successfully apply during our FAFSA night, they need a PIN 2 to 3 days in advance. So we'd like to get them on that before. Also, we hype up and incentivize participation. We support students and parents' efforts with a reward of sorts. In the past several years, we've had a taco truck, much like Monica at Granger. And we hype up that scholarship as well as an opportunity. Like everybody else said, food really does make a difference. So any resources you can find, grant money, funds, I think it's well worth it. And then it's important to have like a lot of support. So we have obviously our USHE specialists. We adore them. They make such a difference to our event. We really couldn't do it without them. About 2 to 3 counselors, UCAC advisors. If you have a UCAC advisor, our UCAC advisors usually ask others in their network to also come help, and as many translators on hand as possible. Last year we had a separate area. We do it in our library, and we had a separate area just for Spanish speakers to work on it, so that they were all close together and our translators could move freely and closely to be working with those students and families. I'll highlight, last year we got a report card that kind of gives you an idea of kind of the benchmarks that might be looking for when hosting a FAFSA night. So here was an example flyer from last year. Because of the taco truck, we tried to theme it. Let's talk about cash for college, and advertising that scholarship. This went out on media and paper advertising. This year we've got a postcard. I'm going to actually show you that after my presentation. This is some of the information we make sure students have before they come. So we're really trying to emphasize in all the information when we meet with them individually during their college and career planning meetings, when we visit classrooms, and on our websites, that this is what they need to successfully complete the FAFSA, so that they come prepared and able to complete it. And this is like kind of the 4 pillars of our support team. Obviously, we have our USHE representatives, our translators. We use folks from Gear Up, our Family Engagement Center, other UCAC advisors, our UCAC counselors, and student volunteers. Every year I communicate with our National Honor Society teacher, and they are always looking for hours, so they come and they're kind of like the check-in folks, so that we can be of direct service to students and families during the application process. So the students actually check everybody in, have them do a sign-in. We know whether the parents with them, so we know exactly what students and what parents came. And then give them just the basic directions, such as, you know, please go to this lab. And there's directions at your counter of where to begin. These are the people that you can ask for questions. They also help us do the checkout process. So we have students at a table before anybody leaves by the door. They check out, they say whether they've completed it, if they need any more help. And that's where they also get like a little token, a ticket for their taco plate dinner, which they get outside. So I'm going to just breeze through. These are links, but I'm going to go ahead and just show some of our websites. Here is our FAFSA night report card from last year. So just be thinking about resources, staff involvement, technology needs, and preparation to meet everybody's needs. I'm going to move this bar. Let's see. Okay. So here's our webpage, coltscounseling.com. You're welcome to come here and steal any information. On our Utah College Application Week page, this is where we guide students to apply for college. But part 2 is obviously paying for college. So here we have information on how to create your FAFSA ID, how to apply for the FAFSA, information for DACA and undocumented students, and then that next step, also applying for additional scholarships. This is our FAFSA page. So we have the link if anybody was not able to come or they didn't finish their application, they still have all the information available on our website, our flyers, and then Dylan and USHE sends out so many great resources. We don't even know where to begin. We couldn't possibly print all of these. So we have them all available on our website. We'll be updating these in the next few weeks before our event on January 11th. So they're great, you know, given our population, we have lots of different languages, and they were all readily available. Earlier, somebody was asking about resources for undocumented students, and we have this page devoted to that. And this gives information. We do have Educate Utah in there. We need to update that. But there is several links to the dream centers to colleges throughout the state. And just of note, even if they don't want to go to a particular college, these dream centers are there to support students and their missions. For example, Salt Lake Community College has a great Dream Center page that also posts scholarships. So this is their Instagram page, and they post scholarships every month about scholarships. And they're not just for Salt Lake Community College, they could be for other institutions. So hopefully that is helpful to answer some of those questions. And then this year, this is our updated postcard. It used to be just for UCA and FAFSA, but given that the gap in time, we're really trying to drive home that this is like a concerted effort for our January event. This is a template, so I'm also willing to share this as well. This postcard will be going out to all our senior families. And then that important step that they must sign up for a FAFSA account in advance to the event in order to successfully complete is what we're really trying to get out. So we put a QR code linking to that Create a FAFSA account right on the postcard. So that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
I was wondering, Kristen, would you be able to just drop some of those links into the chat so that we can
Sure.
just quickly grab those and just check out some of your resources?
Yes. Be
I
happy to.
I put Granger Highs in there. Eric and Tammy, feel free to do so on your end as well if you have any of those links that you'd be wanting to share. Yeah, are there any questions for Kristen or for the group as a whole? Any questions for me? Now's the time for you all just to ask anything. So yeah, I'll just kind of open that up to the group.
If we want to watch this back later, are those links in the chat available later?
They will not, but I could copy them and save them and provide them later in the email that I'll send. So I can do that. Great question. Okay, question that came in for everyone. Which form of advertising do you find is the most effective? Do you use like Parent Square? Are there any other softwares you use or programs? And this is for all of our presenters.
Kristen from Cottonwood, I'll just comment that I have like a little like blog on our counseling center, and it'll get like 3 views. But if I share that same post with a link to one of our admin oversees the school Instagram page, then I'll see a huge bump, like 80 or 90. So I found I have to kind of channel things through social media.
At Piute, we just started School Binder last year, and that was one of the other methods that we had shared our FAFSA night, as well as everything that's going on at the school is School Binder. And it's so most all of our parents now are on School Binder and have access to it.
Eric, you should send me a link to Square Binder so I can kind of see what it's about. I haven't heard of that program yet, so like that. Something too, just so you all know, Eric did show that flyer that was in green. And I am working on making that adaptable to, if you have Canva, like Kristen's been using. I'm gonna have it adapted to a Instagram setup, Twitter, Facebook, as well as like a video setting like Instagram Reels or like TikTok or something. So whatever is kind of your preference, it should be available in that setting. So, and if you have a Canva, you should be able to use it as a template and edit it. However, I know many of you like to do your own thing too. So if you want to do your own thing, please do that. That's probably better, but those flyers I'm trying this out this year to help, but yeah, good question. A message that did come in the chat said we have a system to send out texts to parents, and that's a really good way for getting the info out. I've also heard of schools that they have just a phone recording that automatically, calls the parents, leaves this recording of the event, and that's it. And if they have questions, where to reach out to. So it's another way to reach out to families. They do that both in English and in Spanish, depending on resources. Awesome, thank you. And I am still seeing your screen, Kristen, just heads up. If you want to stop screen sharing. Didn't know if you were aware, I wanted to make sure, but got some great stuff building going on there. Other questions?
Sorry about that. I noticed several people were hopping on the template, so I gave some directions on there.
Perfect. And from what I hear, Canva can be free for educators. Is that kind of the setup for you, Kristen? Is your account
Yeah.
free?
You can apply for a free educator account.
And it's pretty
Great.
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it. I actually the videos from the Paint for College Toolkit I built on Canva. So yeah, there's a lot of different uses you can have with that. Any last questions? I want to see if you have a question, if you're stressed out about something, feel free to bring it up. You don't have to come up and you can put it in the chat, but yeah, either way. Hey, do our presenters have anything final that they would like to say that maybe they feel like they missed out on being able to explain or talk about before we wrap up for today? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you some resources. This is if you're having just issues. Oh, we got another comment in the text or in the chat really fast. One school uses Remind Text to send messages to parents and students. That's what I did that as a college advisor. So yeah, that's a great resource. If you need any help, if you have questions, if you're just concerned and you don't know what to do, please give me a call. Please email me. I'm a little delayed on emails just because there's a lot going on. So if you need something quick, I usually answer my phone number. And if I don't, leave a voicemail and I will get back to you very quickly. I'll try to. If you have students and families that are having issues and you're unable to help them, please send them to the FAFSA help@uc.edu email. Not my work one, because this is more specific to you all, so I know how to navigate that. This other one, I have work studies that are actually have an eye on that, so they can also answer questions. So yeah, great resources. And if you need anything, keep me posted. More information will be available soon. I know it's been a little bit quiet on my end just because we're trying to finalize some stuff, and with the delay in the FAFSA, things are a little delayed on my end, and I'm very sorry. But we will have resources sent to you soon. And then you can get started on all your different ways to reach out to students and parents. I will just let you know that when it comes to Spanish resources, they will be very delayed. So just this year. So keep that in mind. If you have the resources to adapt some of the documents that you need, feel free to do so. Yeah, I'm very excited for our events this year. Thank you all to our presenters. Great work. If you need anything, please reach out to them, reach out to me, and we will talk soon. Keep in touch. So thank you all for being here today. And thank you once again to our presenters.